So, this is a story about how an entire food truck just got shut down because of the amount of hate they got. To the point where they even tried to change their name to get a fresh start, all because they want to keep an extra $2,000 instead of handing it out to the people that deserved it. Let's start the story from the beginning and talk about this place known as Sweetly Seasoned, who just left a sour taste in everyone's mouth. So, Keith Lee, he's doing the food tour in Dallas, right? Like the same one he did back in Atlanta, and it started near the end of January. You had this content creator called HIV Negative Trey making a TikTok asking Keith Lee if he can come check out his mom's food truck because his mom was close to homelessness. So I'm guessing, either Keith Lee saw the video, people tagged him, people commented to get him to, know about the restaurant. Also, I haven't really seen Keith Lee give a large amount of money after reviewing a place, but this might be the reason why. A little background on how the food truck kind of started. So, Sheray's grandmother had a life insurance policy because she passed away, and his mom, she used her part of the money to start the food truck. She could have started a restaurant with it, but it seems like there was some issue with the money with the other siblings. So, cost of food was high, profits was low, and it was catching up to her. So, she sends a message to Trey telling him that she's going to be homeless soon. And that's when he makes the whole TikTok telling her story. And at the same time, he sees Keith Lee is coming to Dallas, and he asks his followers to tag him. So, like 4 to 5 days later, he posts his review about the place. How it was set up was that you had the mom who was the only cook, you had a braider, and you had a barber. The cost of the food was high. It was like $80. I think it was like, between everything, it was like $16 a thing. So, $80, pulled pork sandwich, deep fried ribs and fries, tacos, and 2 banana cream puddings. Honestly, the food looked actually pretty good, and it was rated pretty high too. The sandwich was like a 7.8. If the bun was different, easy 8. Ribs was a 7, but without the sauce, you had an 8.5. Tacos was just a straight 8.7, and the pudding was a 7.3. But he kind of typically doesn't like sweet things, but his wife gave it an 8.6. So from this review, this place had a lot of promise for what they had, because the only issue that Trey said they had was marketing. So after he reviewed the whole thing, he goes up to the mom and he's like, I want to give $1,000 to the barber. I want to give $1,000 to the braider. And I want to give you a $2,000 tip. So you see this and you're like, damn, this is pretty heartwarming. And you can just assume the amount of people that are going to show up, because I think he gave the mom an extra $880 to pay for people who will show up. So he basically just spent $1,000 so that people can eat for free. So in total, he gets charged $4,800 on the food trucks machine. And then the owner would transfer, the $1,000 to both the braider and another $1,000 to the barber after the money got cleared. Now, I want you to remember this last part for later. Y'all give it to each other how y'all feel necessary. Keith Lee shows up, does a review. Son, barber, braider, they're all on Instagram Live. Keith Lee shows up. He knows people are going to show up because of the Keith Lee effect. And he leaves a little bit after because people start showing up for food. So for the 5 minutes that he was there, 30 to 40 people showed up. And he basically gave the cook $1,000 to feed the people that came. So he's gone. They're giving free food out because, he paid $1,000. But after the third person, the owner starts charging people again. So unless those 3 people ordered $900 worth of food by themselves, there is no other reason that they should start charging again. And it got out to the public that she actually did this because the braider released messages and explained what was going on. So it's the next day, yesterday Keith Lee came, now it's the next day, okay? The barber and the braider will get the money in I think 1 to 2 days because the money needs a day or 2 to get cleared. So the braider assumes that she needs to go back the next day because the owner didn't have anyone working yesterday because I think she just works by herself. But after Keith Lee posted the review, you had a lot of people messaging the braider wanting to make menus and flyers for them because people thought the braider was actually the head honcho of the entire thing. Turns out it was just the cook. When she was getting messages, she would send them over to the cook so that she can actually message them. And this is where issues start to rise. So the braider tells the owner that she can keep her $1,000 from Keith Lee, but her brother, the barber, needs it because he's leaving. And this is what the cook had to say.
Call me back so an agreement can be made. But before we even got to those messages, she called me and she was just like, well, I didn't invite your brother to come out there and cut hair. I didn't invite you. My son invited you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give $1,000 to my son and he'll give y'all whatever it is he see fit out of there. Hold on, ma'am. Hold on. Now, I did you a solid by saying I get money. When I opened my eyes this morning, I had a deposit for $1,500. You get what I'm saying? And I made money since. So I told you to keep my money But I was more so pressed about the issue of my brother. Keith Lee don't know my brother. My brother don't know Keith Lee. My brother don't know any of y'all out here. But when you gave him the green light to post his flyers after he cut both of your sons' head, yes, they paid. He wasn't cutting nobody's hair for free. Who the fuck put that out there? If you cutting hair for free, why are you posting flyers with prices?
And Sweet Lee season, they decided to keep the money, all $4,000, because when Keith Lee said, y'all give it to other how you see necessary, they thought they can keep the entire thing, and that he was just saying you can give however much you want to the barber and the braider, even though he explained how he wanted the money to be split before he even got charged. Trey even tried to make a video trying to justify it, but that got taken down because of the amount of hate it got. And then this whole thing became another milk and honey situation. You had Sweet Lee season, which did everything, being not giving the money, and you had another food truck that got hit instead. That food truck got hit with a review bomb, being seasoned street food, which is entirely different from Sweet Lee season. So then Trey makes a video which had a few plot holes, talk about his side of things, and the first thing that he says in a 10-minute TikTok is how the braider is a clout chaser for a whole minute. So in a 10th of the video, he's just complaining about how she's a clout chaser. So the next day rolls around, and Trey, he asks the barber to come back, but he can't because he has to go back to Louisiana. I think it was something about his newborn, but I'm not 100%. Trey also said that he got a call beforehand telling him that Keith Lee was coming that day, which is false, and we'll talk about later. The barber's leaving, and the barber asked for his money that Keith Lee gave him, and Trey is arguing with them, saying that he didn't give $1,000 worth of haircuts, so he can't deserve it, or he doesn't deserve it. But like, they didn't give $900 worth of food, so explain that. And then Trey says that now they have to buy or, pay for a whole nother barber for $1,000 to show up. Even if they paid a new barber, they wouldn't lose anything. Because Keith Lee, he gave $2,800 to the cook, $1,000 to the barber, $1,000 to the braider. Braider's like, nah, you can keep my money. So that's $3,800 for the cook, $1,000 to the barber. Now it would be $2,800 to the cook, $1,000 to the barber, and $1,000 to the new barber. So either way, they still keep their full amount. So what's their issue? And why are they even complaining? Because they even started charging people food, because there's still no possible way that 3 people ordered $900 worth of food. Even though the food is expensive, there is still no way someone got $900 worth of food. So what's Trey's response to that? So when the first barber, when he asked for his money, for some reason Trey gave it out of pocket for him, even though he could have waited like a day for the money to be cleared and then send it over. Also, before Keith Lee showed up, Trey thought for some reason the barber was giving out free haircuts. So after Trey's brother got a haircut, the barber asked for money and Trey was confused. But couldn't he ask the barber beforehand if he was giving haircuts for free or he was getting paid? Now a bit of a plot hole. So he sends the barber $20 through Apple Pay, like through the messages, I'm not sure what that's called, for the haircut for his brother, okay? But when the barber asked for $1,000, he said he couldn't send it because his bank card got stolen. Even though in that same day, or within 24 hours, he just sent them over $20 through Apple Pay. So when was his card stolen? And how does that make any sense? Even if he can't do the whole grand in one payment, he can do, at least 10 payments of $100. And even if he can't do that, we see now that he can do payments of $20. So even if he has to do, multiple payments of $20, he can still send over the money. I don't know what the max is, but, he should be able to still send it over. Also, where was this new barber that he was supposed to hire? Because after that, the whole Keith Lee interview and all the hate, they still didn't get a new barber after that. So either way, they walked out with an extra grand. Then Trey decides to make an apology video after he sees Keith Lee's video talking about the situation. So in Keith Lee's video, he responds to it. First thing he said was that nobody knew that they were coming. So he was lying about that.
Food truck. Number one, nobody had any idea we was coming. They found out we was in Dallas like everybody else found out we was.
He knew that the haircuts costed $40 even before he showed up because he saw the live, and how does Trey not know that?
Number two, I was never under the impression that haircuts was free. Again, my family was watching the lives. We knew that he was cutting hair for $40.
And he thought that the braider and barber were always there because, still, it's his first time actually being there. And the reason why he gave $1,000 to each was that he said that business, or Trey said that business was slow because of the marketing. So he gave $1,000 to both of them.
impression that they were a team and this was a normal routine for them. The barber being there, the braider being there, family being there, a lot.
Because in the span of, 5 minutes, 40 people showed up. Also, Keith Lee got hate for not giving the money out individually. But, he doesn't carry cash. Also, it was the braider's idea to do the money through the food truck's machine. Because she thought that the owner would be a normal person and just give the money afterwards. Because the money was meant for them and not solely to the food truck owner.
And the reason why I didn't pay everybody individually, the interaction that you see looked longer than what it was. It was really only like a 5-minute interaction. Within that 5 minutes, 30 to 40 people pulled up. They was pulling up in droves. That parking lot was getting deep fast. And for me and my family's safety in general, I don't ever carry cash around. And 9 times out of 10, if we tip, we always do it through the POS system. And even if we wanted to do it a different way, Zelle and Apple Pay wasn't an option because it was 4 or 5 people at the same time on live. So for safety reasons, they wouldn't be able to say their phone numbers or their personal information out loud. And as far as them taking my phone and putting their number in on Zelle themselves, I wouldn't hand my personal phone to nobody. So the POS system was the option that made the most sense. I've learned through this journey that sometimes it's deeper than the food, it's deeper than the marketing, it's deeper than the customer service. And this is one of those cases in my opinion. Sweetly Season got a lot to figure out, and I thank God in advance that they do figure it out.
And then he calls out Trey for purposely trying to word it so that they could keep the money. When he said y'all can give it to each other how y'all see necessary, when Keith Lee said that, he meant like how to give the money through different apps, cash. Not the actual amount would change, just a different app. Because the first thing he does is he states the amount of money he wants to give to each person. So I don't know how Trey even got that confused.
The last thing I'm going to touch on is the son is misconstruing something that I said, and I don't appreciate it. After I said out loud in detail what we deemed the money to be used towards, I also said y'all can divvy it out how y'all feel necessary. Meaning, after the money hits, because it's a POS system, it don't hit the same day. Y'all can send it out through Apple Pay, through Zelle, through Cash App, through check, through cash. However y'all feel necessary to spread it amongst the team. I thought and I still think that that's a very clear statement. But it's being misconstrued, and in my opinion, intentionally misconstrued, that I said and the mom and the son can say who get the money and who don't get the money.
So after all the hate, Sweetly Seasoned is now gone, and All-in-One Catering LLC is now born. If they just gave the money, no questions asked, they would have been set. They kept an extra grand for a day over making a possibility of 50 in a month's time because of the Keith Lee effect and how expensive their food was. Because $80 for like 5 things, 2 of the things being a dessert, that's still expensive. Because it was like because each thing was like an average of like $18 or $16. Now Trey's apology. So he apologizes to Keith Lee because he lied on his name about the whole we knew he was coming. And then, after the whole apology thing, Trey for some reason thought it would be a good idea to try to host another event. And that event would be on February 9th with a whole new barber. But it looks like he didn't see events that were, going to unfold. Because before February 9th, I think the food truck got shut down and, that's how they got the new name. So because of their greed, they lost everything. And this is what could have happened if they weren't greedy. This video was before the Sweetly Season, and it was a bakery called Absolutely Edible Cakes. He gave both items he had above a 9. Out of all the TikToks he's done, this is the 4th sweet sugary treat that has gone above in the 9 range. Then the owner of Absolutely Edible Cakes, she's been making TikToks showing the lines that are going, or lines that are starting from outside her store, and she's showing videos about how the store is packed to the brim with people. And in the comments of those videos, you just have people clowning on Sweetly Season because this could have been them. Also, I think the owner of Sweetly Season, at the peak of not giving the money, she doubled down for some reason on Instagram before the name change. Like she was saying, the money's mine, I ain't giving it, stuff like that. But then, all the hate was coming in. She made a video giving a lot of attitude, wanting to give the money to I think it was the braider. She's like, yeah, just take the money. Yeah. It was so much attitude that, people should entertain, the fact that you should be, honestly, just don't even look at the video. I don't even know what else to say. But even if she gave the money at that point, things still wouldn't have worked out. Moral of the story is that if you get blessed by the number 1 person who can change your life for the better, don't get greedy. But also, if you think about it, if he didn't give that extra tip, nobody would know how they were and they would be a thriving business. But because of that tip, and he decided to bless their family with the $4,000, we saw their true colors and how their business really is. So basically that's about it. If you like, then sub. If you sub, you might get another video.